This semester is going to be posing some unique challenges. You might find yourself at home trying to figure out how to learn and how to lawyer with some new coworkers, like my daughter Franny here. Our hope is that this short training will give you some ideas about how to engage in ethical and competent client representation this semester.
This short video will be covering 4 main ethical challenges you may face this semester related to your remote representation: diligence, communications, confidentiality, and supervision. Maryland Attorneys Rules of Professional Conduct, Rule 19-301.3, has to do with diligence, and it states the following: an attorney shall act with reasonable diligence and promptness in representing a client. Being diligent in normal times is hard enough. As lawyers, we have to find ways to balance our work obligations with our personal obligations. And this is made even more difficult in the current moment with the challenges of remote lawyering and learning. Some of you may be attempting to juggle your clinic work with childcare duties as daycares and schools close. Others may find themselves suddenly to be homeschool teachers for their children or needing to care for elderly family members. We understand the struggle is real. That said, as student attorneys, you now have an obligation to diligently represent your clients. So if you foresee challenges with meeting your 20-hour-a-week work obligations for clinic or being able to promptly attend to client matters, please come and see us now so we can work with you to problem solve. We encourage everyone to keep detailed calendars, to use reminder tools, and to be realistic about what you can and cannot take on this semester. If you foresee any problems, please come and talk to us. We are here to help. Rule 19-301.4 deals with communication, and it states, an attorney shall promptly inform the client of any decision or circumstance with respect to which the client's informed consent is required by these rules. 2. Keep the client reasonably informed about the status of the matter. 3. Promptly comply with reasonable requests for information. And 4, consult with the client about any relevant limitation on the attorney's conduct when the attorney knows that the client expects assistance not permitted by the rules. And B, an attorney shall explain a matter to the extent reasonably necessary to permit the client to make informed decisions regarding the representation. Communication might be a bit of a challenge this semester, as we have limited access to the clinic suite. This impacts the ease of coordinating in-person client meetings, accessing clinic printers and scanners, and processing mail. So we need to think proactively and creatively about how we can keep our clients informed about their cases and work with them to advance their matters. Advancements in technology certainly make some things easier. In clinic, we have tools like the e-signature feature in Clio to collect signatures, Zoom for video conferencing, and WhatsApp for phone calls and texting. However, we have to be mindful of how technology can both help and hinder attorney-client communication. Some things that you should consider. What boundaries will you be setting around texting or calling with clients? Does your clients have access to a smartphone or Wi-Fi? What language barriers may exist, and how are you going to overcome them? Is it safe for your client to be speaking with you at home? Are there any literacy concerns? Rule 19-301.6 has to do with confidentiality, and it states in part, an attorney shall not reveal information relating to representation of a client unless the client gives informed consent, the disclosure is impliedly authorized in order to carry out the representation, or the disclosure is permitted by this rule. Many of us have families or roommates living with us, so we need to think about what proactive steps we can take to minimize the risk of inadvertent disclosure of client information. In the Family Law Clinic, we listed headphones with a microphone as a required course material. Not only will this help with the sound quality for class, but it will also help reduce the risk that others in your home may overhear your conversations. And even with headphones, you want to be mindful about where you're going to be having conversations with your clients or about your client matters. If you'll be using notebooks or printing materials with client information, you need to think about how and where you will be storing these materials. Do you have a locked cabinet or a box that you could put in part of the house away from children or others, perhaps with a sign marked confidential? You want to ensure your computer and your phones also have passcodes, and avoid saving materials to your personal desktop. This is why we're having students use Clio Launcher this semester to minimize the need to save things directly on your computer. And finally, Rules 19-305.1, 19-220, and 19-301.1 all have to do with your role as a student attorney and supervision. One thing we want to be mindful of this semester is ensuring you get the supervision needed to comply with the rules and provide competent representation to your clients. We're not in the same physical space, so that means I can't just walk down to the student workspaces to check and see how you're doing. And likewise, you can't come up and knock on my door to ask a question. So we need to be thinking about what additional steps we can all take to ensure open communication and that you have the tools needed to be successful. We'll be putting various safeguards in place. We'll have weekly supervision meetings, and we'll also be scheduling virtual water coolers so that you can problem solve with your colleagues on issues that have come up in your case. We'll be discussing in supervision specifics of how you can reach us outside of office hours, but also how we can reach you. This is sure to be a challenging but incredible semester, and the lessons learned now about remote work will be useful to your future careers as the profession adapts and uses more and more technology. Good luck! Thank you.